Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're in the living room. We've just finished up some of our little construction here with these built-ins, and we're moving on to the next little project in here. So we got this random hole in the floor. Not really sure where it came from. Previous owners had put a, it looks like black walnut, a little piece of wood, and then burnt a Canadian flag into it. It looks really cool. They just placed it in there loose, not sure why, just to maybe fill a hole in the floor. But my plan is to actually take it, sand it down, put it back in. I want to epoxy it in, make the floor nice and smooth, and kind of seal it in there forever. So I've never done any epoxy work before. This will be a brand new project for me. I just got this little two-piece Amazon kit that you mix together. Makes about 8 square feet. I'll have a link in the description. So yeah, if you want to try epoxy out for the first time, just like me, this will be the video for you, all right? So coming up. All right, guys, so before I start going in the shop and sanding this down, I'll show you this artresin.com two-part. It's a hardener and a resin. Yeah, so this will be interesting. Now, I went ahead and measured the floor depth, so it looks like there's roughly a 7/8 of an inch thickness. Like that's how much of the floor is missing pretty much. And then I went ahead and measured this piece of wood they left there because it protrudes past, because it's sitting at around 1 inch, and it's not exactly level. I don't know if you can see there, but you know, it definitely dried out. There's a split obviously. So I don't want to sand down this branded portion, so I'm going to sand the backside and try to make it level. And then I've got to try to get it to a little below 5/8 or 7/8 rather, just so that I'm thinking when I pour my epoxy, you know, I want a little bit over top, and hopefully it all sits in there. Hoping the floor is somewhat level there and epoxy's not going to fly over, but I'm thinking if anything kind of rolls past. So let's get back in the shop here, and we're going to kind of have a look at this thing here and figure out how we can square up. Alright guys, I'm trying out this new microphone here. So I decided that I was going to start sanding by hand, trying to remove some of the material off of this old piece of maple here. And honest to God, it was just brutal. I spent about half an hour on it, various grits. I think I'm down to like 50 grit there. And it was brutal. So I tried my air sander, which historically has worked really well for me, but I don't know if the unit's busted or what the deal is, but honestly, it wasn't shaking like she used to. So, you know, trip to Canadian Tire, picked up the new orbital sander, ready to give that a shot. Yeah, the orbital sander, way faster. Obviously, we all knew that, but anyhow, it made short work of the backside. You know, maple's a really hard wood anyhow, so the kit came with various grits. So I worked her down. I made sure that I had worked the piece down at least a few millimeters below where the floor was. You can see there, I just kind of measured it up a bit. Now we're ready to mix the hardener and the resin together. So this kit on Amazon's really easy. It's 1-to-1, nothing too fancy in terms of measuring. I would definitely recommend you use a smaller measuring cup. This is the one I use for like oil changes and stuff like that, and it's just way too big. Because I'm only dealing with a really small batch of epoxy, it wasn't the best choice. And I would definitely recommend you wear some sort of gloves when you're dealing with this stuff. Once it gets on your hands, it gets pretty nasty. So yeah, here I am just measuring it up here. I think I started with maybe 150 milliliters worth of material, like I wanted to end up with. So then I got thinking, you know, 150 plus 150, and now I'm at 300 milliliters. It's quite a bit of material for my first time. Yeah, and then we're here, we're mixing it up. You definitely want to mix it up for a solid 5 minutes. This epoxy, you want it at room temperature when you apply it. Mix it up solid 5 minutes, and then we get ready for the big pour. Alright, so I got my rags out, got my stir stick. You know, you live and learn. You make, like this epoxy stuff is all new to me. I have no idea what I'm doing. You know, I didn't realize the old previous owners just took some old floorboards and they screwed them up from the crawl space into these old planks, right? Just to kind of seal up that hole. And, well, sure shit, the epoxy flowed right through the little, that separation from the boards, and it pretty much leaked all into the basement. So here I am with a second batch, wondering where all my epoxy's going, not gluing in. And yeah, so it just basically leaked into the basement, which is awesome. Just crawl space here, but likely there's about a 200 milliliters of epoxy sitting on a vapor barrier down there. So I'm just looking here. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I got to figure out a way to, now I got to pull this out and figure out a way to seal the actual floorboard. So I went to the shop, figured out what I had going on, found some Gorilla Glue, which was kind of like an amber color, and decided I'm going to pull the little puck out there and seal up the board. So I took some Gorilla Glue and I glued around the boards, and it sealed up overnight. I was able to keep going with another pour. So went ahead, did another pour. It turned out really good. It stayed there. Once you've got your epoxy, you want to heat it up every so often. Definitely keep an eye on it. You'll see these little bubbles forming, and you want to make sure you get those bubbles popped. Yeah, and just keep heating that epoxy up, and then I would literally babysit it for about an hour. Then what you're going to want to do is cover it up, make sure nothing gets in there, especially cat hair. Got lucky there. Yeah, I tell you, cat hair, man, it's the worst. Yeah, like I said, got lucky. Yeah, so I just covered it up with a little milk crate there. I got a small baby girl, so it worked out really good. Let it harden for at least 24 hours, like I said. And yeah, this is the result, guys. Have a look. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, we're a Canadian homesteading and how-to channel. We put out weekly videos here. We're just trying to build up this 10-acre property here in Niagara Falls, Canada. So we've got lots of projects on the go here. Trying to get this 2-story addition off the back of the farmhouse. Nice big veggie garden in the back here. And yeah, we're always just tinkering. So if you're into that kind of thing, definitely consider subscribing, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family. We'll catch you in 2021.